What's going on, guys? Alpine Gremlin again here with some more World of Tanks. Today we're going to be taking a look at arguably one of the strongest Tier 6 tanks in the game, tier for tier, and that is the British Cromwell. Now, this tank has been in the game for a long time, probably about 2 or 3 years now, and I can't believe that I have never bothered to go past the Crusader. I got basically the day the British mediums came in, I got to tier 5 and never went any further than that, and that was years ago. But I finally decided to, I guess, go through some of the tanks that I never actually played. And so this is the result. We're taking a look at the Cromwell. Now I'm going to show you two different games. This first one where it's top tier, and the second game is basically takes place when it's not top tier in a very tier 8 game. And to be honest, I feel like this tank. This tank tends to see tier 8s a lot, but I also can understand why. This tank is incredibly strong for its tier. It might not have any armor, but it is incredibly fast. Light tank speed. It has an amazing little gun with a high rate of fire. It doesn't do a lot of damage, but that damage quickly adds up once you start putting those shots in. And believe me, you're going to be putting out a lot of firepower in this tank. So we're on Himmelsdorf. It's a standard battle starting from the south. We're going to go ahead and go up the hill, as a fast medium really should on this map. And I go ahead and decide to peek the ridge a little bit. I don't want to go in there just yet. You can see behind me, I do have a couple friendly mediums coming up, so I want to wait. I spot a T-40, put a shot into him, and I'm reloaded in time to put a shot into the second one. Those two guys are actually platooned. So I'm just waiting here, keeping their heads down, waiting for my mediums to come up behind me. And you can see now on the map, you can see now over there on my left and behind, my Shermans are coming up to assist. I see that Wolverine over there. I don't really want to poke with him. That's the thing is, this tank is good at playing peekaboo, but you usually take a lot of shots in return. And you just have that little, just such a small amount of armor. But now I'm going to go put fire into these T-40s. The Wolverine comes up, and the good penetration of the standard rounds are more than enough to get through most of the things that this tank will face. You can see, though, I do load quite a few APCR rounds, just in case I see tier 8s. So we're going to put shots into this SU-100Y, and we auto-aim them, and we actually get a really nice ammo rack there, doing 452 damage, and so that really helps. Very strong tank destroyer out of the fight. So now we're going ahead and engaging these guys, putting shots into these guys. I'm on their left flank now. There's really nothing that they can do. Trying to keep this M4 Sherman perma-tracked. I end up putting one into his lower front plate once I see that he is now one shot from me. Put a shot into the Wolverine. Now it's time to flank the KV. Get alongside him. Penetration is more than adequate to deal with this guy. We end up setting him on fire. And the M4A3E2 on my team, the Jumbo, ends up finishing him off. Now, the situation is not... Now, this game actually takes an interesting turn here. You can see we're up by a lot. We're leading. But the enemies are very effectively defending their base from our guys that try to attack via the 1, 2, 3 lines. And they're really starting to bring those score backs. T-150 kills the Hetzer. You can see the T-150, a top tier heavy, is actually all the way down there. That Jackson is going to have to deal with him for the time being, because I am busy trying to mop up the enemies at their cap. But you can see now the scores are now 9-9. We are now tied. I get a couple good shots into that T1 heavy right before he leaves, and now we got an ELC. I miss him. Poorly aimed shot. T-3485 pokes. I lock him up. Kill him because I know he's on reload. T1 heavy though. Juke the shot and end up taking a bounce. The Cromwell is good for that once in a while, but it's not something that you really want to rely too much on. So now the T1 heavy is behind that corner. I know I can get around here to perform a flanking maneuver. So now things are getting really tense. Now we're actually down a tank. So I load. You can see now I've loaded an APCR round because I really want to hit this KV2. But he was waiting for me. He was actually really good, and I got lucky that he missed that shot there. But so now he's running, and I know that he has a really long reload. I can't let him reload that 152mm dirt. Otherwise, that's just going to make life incredibly difficult. I miss him with the auto-aim, but I ram the ELC, keep auto-aiming the KV-2. I kill the ELC, and I don't even realize I'm still firing APCR at this point, but I put 2 shots in at the T1 Heavy to mop him up, kill the T1 Heavy. So now there's only 1 tank left. Thankfully, the Jackson ended up mopping up the T150 in the base, but that KV-85 was waiting for me, and he ends up putting a really solid hit into me for 374, but the amazing rate of fire on this, he is never going to out-reload me, and I'm just going to mop him up before he even has a chance to reload. And that's game. That's 8 kills. There's our Radley Walters as well. Alright, so that's the Cromwell in a very tier 6 game when it's top tier. So let's take a look at the after action report. Alright, well now that we've seen the Cromwell in a tier 6 engagement where it's arguably a little bit overpowered, I would say, or at least very, very strong, we're going to take a look at the matchmaking you're more likely to see in this tank. Tier 7 and 8 games. This is a tier 7, this is a tier 8 game. So, and there's some very strong tier 8s on the enemy team. STA2, IS3, IS6, Object 416. Luckily, Proc, if you're a medium or a light, Proc is one of those or rather fiery salient, I guess. If this is the Kursk, the more Kursk variant, War-Torn. But Proc and fiery salient are actually pretty good maps to be in if you're bottom tier in a medium or light, because the map's wide enough to where you can stay at range. There's enough concealment around to where you can stay hidden, so you can definitely contribute as a bottom tier tank in this kind of matchup. So like I always do on this map, I'm going to go to the middle, but again you could go to the hill just to get some early spots. I try to take a speculative shot at that bulldog, but I'm not fully aimed in and it goes into the dirt. So I'm basically waiting. This team is really good about map control positions. You can see all of the tanks over here going up to the hill, so they hopefully will be pushing that position rather aggressively, and we can get some good lights on the enemy tanks. Now you can see I've already loaded APCR in preparation for the side of really strong heavy tanks on the hill. So we're gonna see how that pans out. So there's the IS3 actually came to the middle now, so I really have to be careful. There's also, if you notice, the STA2 is also here. So I kind of have to tread lightly. I can't really take too many hits from those two guys before I die. I believe the IS-3 is going to be able to two-shot me. The STA can certainly rip me up as well, but I can also penetrate the STA with relative ease, even with the standard rounds on this gun. Now I reload my regular rounds again, because I'm trying to get a line on this STA-2, but you'll notice that T-54, and I didn't even have to look at him, but I heard the shell impact, the shell penetration sound, so I know that the only thing that could possibly have shot this T-54 Mod 1 is somebody on the hill. So I back up immediately to get out of the line of fire, even though I haven't been lit yet, because I still need to wait for these guys up here to start moving. And believe me, there are a lot of them, so they really need to get moving, otherwise we're just going to be wasting that many tanks. So the Panzer 58 Mutz decides to go out. I load my APCR again. There's the side of a T-20. First shot goes low. Second shot hits him. Now I got to be careful because I've been spotted. There is artillery in play, but I'm just peeking enough of my turret out over this berm here to where I can get some solid shots into these guys. And remember, this is kind of what you have to do at low tier. You know, you got to take it a little bit easy. And that, you know, you don't want to be too aggressive because you're going to get destroyed if you do. Now this STA-2 just came over the ridge to play, but I'm not interested in really playing with him if he's going to be paying attention to me. So I'm going to move my position a little bit so that I'm not directly in front of him. You can see the enemy scouts are still kind of running rampant around. The middle of the map. So I need to, take advantage of me being undetected while I can get these shots in, these nice juicy side shots on the Oni. And I am gonna really put the hurting on this guy. Now I'm using, I am using a lot of premium ammo in this game, but shooting at the side of an IS-6 like that, I mean, that's, I'm not going to really be able to penetrate him reliably with regular rounds. So I need to get the most out of this premium ammo stock, and this is why I take this much, just in case I see a match like this, a tier 8 match, and believe me, you will in the Cromwell. So I switch back to my regular rounds. Just in case, because I know that there is an Oni up there, and I can actually reliably penetrate both him and the side of this E2 Sherman. I just got to aim better. You can see my regular rounds do go through. There's a Bulldog up there too. There are just side shots for days on these guys. So Oni is down. Now I got the side of the Jumbo. Gonna start putting fire into him. Now the Bulldog's going up there as well. All these lightly armored tanks. Like I said, I don't need premium ammo for these guys. I would need premium ammo for the IS-6, however. So once we're done shooting at the Bulldog, I get lit, so I pull back down a little bit. And I don't want to stay in one place for too long. Remember, I'm just doing wide loops, unpredictable loops to get out of the artillery's attention, but the IS-3 and the STA-2 are both starting to be are being much more aggressive now. But I pull up, this STA is not looking at me. I'm going to start putting some nice side shots into this guy. And now I'm putting another shot into him. I do take a shot in return, but there's enough of my team shooting at this guy to where I'm pretty confident that I can kind of be a little bit aggressive with him. STA comes back up. I bounce him, but the Mod 1 set him on fire, and he goes down. So there's the biggest threat to me, to my operation here in the middle, dealt with. Now there's still guys pushing the hill. The Bulldog and the IS-6 are still up there. A lot of their TDs also haven't been lit yet. The SU-100, the SU-100Y has been lit along the 7 line, but the SU-152 and the Scorpion are still unlit. I'm going to take advantage. I'm going to get a couple shots, if possible, into this 416. Get one good hit into him. But there's the SU-152, so I peek a little bit more up the ridge. More than likely, I'm not going to be the focus of attention with a T-71 running rampant behind the enemy lines. So I'm going to just poke this ridge ever so slightly and get some nice juicy shots into the flank of the SU. Scorpion gets spotted. I'm going to do the same to him. Like he said, he's very much concerned with the T-71 right now. Now you can see I am running relatively low on ammo, and you're gonna find that that is a thing in the Cromwell. I've only got 8 regular rounds left, 5 APCR left, and 13 high explosive. I should probably adjust my ammo count. I really don't use HE that much, but that's just in case I absolutely cannot penetrate the target. Enemy Hellcat up there. I decided to deal with him first. I think because I had thought about going in on that Scorpion, but I didn't want to go right in front of the Hellcat's gun. But the Hellcat backs off the ridge. But with him there, I'm not too keen on going after that Scorpion. But the T-71 goes in, so I'm like, you know what, screw it. This is probably going to be a win anyway. Let's get a nice little ram in. There's a kamikaze medal right there. Now I take cover, use the wreck of this Tiger 1 over here as cover. But I got to be careful about spamming too many shots because I am running low on regular rounds. But the Hellcat shoots the Tiger's hull. Thankfully, I'm taking cover. And I'm out of regular rounds. But luckily, I'm able to finish off the Hellcat. The IS-3 has come over the ridge and is now behind me. And I try to get a good shot into him, but I fuck up. I should have just gotten behind the wreck of the Tiger and stayed there and let the IS-3 come at me and, kind of, play ring around the rosy with him. But I got greedy. I tried to put a shot with my APCR into his lower glacis, and it ended up killing me. But honestly, at this point, the match has pretty much been decided. They only have 3 tanks left, so there really isn't much that they can do. And I'm a little salty in this game. But, that's true. That IS-3 really, that IS-3 really wasn't where he needed to be. He spent the entire game kind of in the middle, in the town, not really doing anything. And, he was basically depriving his team of an effective Tier 8 heavy. Well, and we'll see in the after-action report the damage he did, but he really wasn't in the positions that he needed to be as a Tier 8 heavy. He does have 3 kills, but I think there's a lot more that he could have done to support his team, rather than, kind of just sitting in the middle of the map like that. And now it's gonna cost him. And that's game. Alright, so let's take a look at the after-action report for that. Alright, so, even in a Tier 8 game, you can see just how competitive the Cromwell is if you put it in the right positions to take advantage of the right opportunities. Especially on a map like Proc, like I said, long sight lines, it's pretty easy to stay at range, stay away from the enemy tanks that you don't want to deal with, and allow you to deal with, the less potent threats before you have to deal with, the large threats. And that allows you to rack up some decent damage, some decent experience. You can see, even in a Tier 8 game, we managed to score top damage, 3,129 damage. We even picked up 2 kills and easily had the most experience on the team with 1,424. Now, obviously, we get big bonuses for shooting at those Tier 7 and 8 tanks. So that's why we got so much experience that round. You could see we ended up coming away with a kamikaze medal because we nailed that Scorpion, high caliber, and Confederate. And we came away with 48 shots fired. 31 of those hit, 24 penetrations, but we were at range. You can see we did about 1,858 damage from more than 300 meters when we were sniping from the middle like that. But yeah, I mean, this tank is very, very potent, especially when driven correctly. And you can see we even got 1,184 spotting damage in that battle, thanks to we lit up that STA, and he got his bell rung. So you can see even bottom tier, the Cromwell is very effective.